How's it going, everybody? It's Nick Daniels here, coming at you live yet again. I can't remember if I did this review or not, so we're doing it anyway. We're talking about The Road today. Spoiler alert. Thank you. Here we go. So, The Road is, honestly, it was a movie I've been had on the bucket list for a long time. Never got around to it. I'm not going to lie, I've been lazy. And it was fucking depressing. The entire film is just absolutely depressing. And I like that. That to me is like what movies miss sometimes, is like one of the movies that will do like the odd thing. It's like, hey, like no one does this, let's do this. I almost feel like that's what they talked about, and they fucking killed it. So The Road takes place in a post-apocalyptic form, whatever you want to call it. I can't say that word right now, but you know what I'm trying to say. In the world is basically fucked. And they're like, hey, we're going to just walk on this road, and we're going to try to get like basically across the United States, maybe across the water, head to Canada, head north, and I don't know, whatever, go from there. So they walk along, and they're like, the food's short, like you can't really find any food, nothing's really growing, and that's like a majority of the thing, is you're just kind of not seeing anything. It like I don't know what you want to call it, like the color gallery, I guess that's the best thing I can call it. I know it's not the right thing, but the color is like nothing. It's like non-existent. It's basically like a really, really, really dark tone throughout the film. Like it's just like these grays, like dark grays, blacks, like whatever. It's like, oh, and that's the idea. It's not bright and colorful. It's dark. It's scary, and it's depressing. So there's a couple encounters with people. That's the main idea of this movie, and especially of The Road. And you'll hear it a few times in the film of stay off the road, stay off the road. Okay, perfect. So the father and the son are walking along, and they'll constantly encounter somebody. There's a group of people on this, like, oh god, we died. On this truck, and they have an encounter with one of the guys off the truck, and he's got he doesn't have a weapon, he's got a knife, I guess. I guess that counts. And the rest of them have like rifles, but they're off in the distance. He's talking to this one guy, and he's like, yeah, come on the truck, man, we got food. And the father calls him out immediately. He's like, you don't got any food, right? And sure enough, they don't, because the big talk in the movie is separating the father and the son from like the bad guys. They're like, we're not bad. He's like, we're not bad guys because we don't eat people. And obviously with the shortage of food, cannibalism is a big thing. And sure enough, they kill that guy with the knife. The people on the truck eat him, because he's like, well, he's dead, so we might as well not waste the meat. And he's gone. Like it's fucked. So they find like a bunker. It's like sick. And they get some food, and then as soon as they hear noise of like somebody out there, they don't take the chance. There's no chances with this father and son, and it's really sad, because he actually teaches the kid how to kill himself with a pistol. He's like, hey, like I got 2 bullets. He's like, you just cock it back, put it in your mouth, and go. And there's a scene where they're in a building, and they're like scavenging, and there's a bunch of naked guys in the basement that are like fucking anorexic. You know why? It's because they're stuck down there. They've been captured and locked down there, and they're eating them. The group of people that live in the building, there's like 3 of them or something like that, and they're just picking one at a time and going through them. And that's what they do during their day. They just walk around and try to capture people, and then they just throw you down there, and eventually they'll kill you and eat you. And it was fucking sad. It was a crazy looking scene. But people are coming home. The father and the son are in the building, and he puts the gun right up to the kid's head and was about to pull the trigger. There was no hesitation, really, in my opinion. Obviously, I mean, like, yeah, he was kind of waiting until like the last second, and it panned out. Some girls come in, so I got to put the camera down here for a second. But yeah, it was really intense, and that's kind of the idea. Is like the son is trying to be like, hey, like here's some good morals, like we should help people. And the father's like, I don't know, man, that's not a good idea. And I think I feel like he tries to teach him that during the movie. Like, that's not a good fucking idea to do that. There's a scene where this fella steals their food and stuff and walks off. They catch up to him, and the father draws the gun on him, and he's like, hey man, strip down to nothing, put everything in there. And they walk off and leave him, and he's like, we're leaving you the way you left us. And the son convinces them to leave the clothes back with food there, almost like as an apology. But it was just a really interesting scene that, like, that guy probably didn't mean too bad, but that's obviously what was going to happen. There was like an old fella they had an encounter with, that was interesting, and the father was still distrustful, even though like they had been going along a little bit on the road together. He was like still not trusting him. The father dies near the end of the movie, like, or right near the end there, and a stranger had come up, and the son is quizzing him. He's like, hey, like, you good people? What's going on? and he brings up like a lady, and like two kids and a dog, and that's kind of the scene is like it just ends, and it's like there's a chance of hope there, because if they were cannibals, I don't think that would have happened. They wouldn't have had that situation going on. And there was signs of life. There was like a bird, and there was like bugs. There was a couple like bugs flying around, and they hadn't seen any of that. So there was just a glimmer at the end of like, hey, you know, here we go. And I don't know. It's like that's kind of the idea at the end. It's like, okay, like maybe things actually kind of looked up at the end of the movie, and there was hope, right? But overall, I liked it, and it was very I wouldn't say it was like extremely tense, but there was a couple tense scenes where you were like, "Oh shit, like this isn't good." And like nothing in the movie up to the end of the movie is like really anything positive. There's like one scene where they find the bunker and get some food. Other than that, that happy hour ends pretty quick, and they're right back into the shit of it. So that's been The Road. Check it out. Decent movie, and thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay.